Welcome. Mr. Man God of Dots back with another episode of the Audible, breaking down the teams as we get ready for the NFL season. This week we're focusing in on the NFC North. Started out the week talking about the Bears and the Detroit Lions. Today's episode will be about the Green Bay Packers. If you saw the title, said Murky. This is kind of uncharted territory for the Green Bay Packers, but it is also kind of a familiar territory. I'll explain it a little bit later in the show. It'll all come together. Miss Murph, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, I had to do what I had to do. But we're in better spirits today. All right. Let me get into a bit of housekeeping while I kind of get this show on the roll. I know next week we will be doing the AFC North, breaking down those teams due to scheduling conflicts. The last week of this month, not next week, but the week after, first 2 days, I will be breaking down the NFC West on those first 2 days, and the last 2 days, I'll be breaking down the AFC West. So I'm gonna have to kind of cram both of those divisions into the last week because the season kicks off. First week of September, and I'm not trying to be doing still previews and games actually going live, bullets are flying and all that good stuff. So I will be cramming it in there. And plus, brother be, taking a bit of a break, enjoying the holiday and, doing stuff with the family. So taking a bit of a break. So, 2 weeks, I'll be cramming both of those divisions. So those shows will be kind of long. What I'll probably do is do 2 teams a day. For that particular week, and we kind of crank it out. Shows will be a little bit longer, but hey, it is what it is. It's content. But tonight we're gonna be talking about the Green Bay Packers. If you are aware, they have moved on. It is no longer the Aaron Rodgers era. We have officially started the Jordan Love era. Now, for one, I'm just gonna say this as a side note. I'm definitely curious. Green Bay is one of the teams I'm kind of keeping a real close eye on, because this team could be potentially okay, but this team could also be potentially bad. How you doing, Gator girl? So I'm just saying, I'm kind of watching. I'm not, putting a lot of stock in the Green Bay because it's a lot of uncertainty. But if certain things kind of break right for them, then you could see this team, surprising a lot of people. I know the expectations coming into the season ain't no Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay is going to be down in the dump. This team is going to be garbage. But when you look at some of the pieces that they have, and like I said, this is unfamiliar territory for a lot of Packers fans. For pretty much for the last 25, 30 years, you've lived through the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers era. You've only known great quarterback play. Who knows what we're going to get from Jordan Love? In my eyes, Jordan Love has been in the league for a couple of years, but I look at him as a rookie. It's not much game film on him. It's not a lot of game tape on him. Sure, he sat on the sidelines and learned a lot, came in for spot duty, but this is his first real chance as a former first-round pick, very talented quarterback. But this is going to be his first real chance to actually run a franchise. And to say that it's not going to be eyes on him, it's not going to be pressure on him is a lot. It's one thing to be coming in and replacing the Andy Dalton, or Jeff George. It's another thing where you're talking about arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But like I said, this organization has been through that transition before. We had those same kind of concerns and doubts when Aaron Rodgers took over the job from Brett Favre. So who knows? Does history repeat itself, or are we into uncharted territory when we're talking about the Green Bay Packers? And as always, when we talk about these teams, we always start with the most important position on the field, quarterback. Jordan Love, it's a lot of physical gifts. To Love, I like him coming out of college. I was actually surprised he ended up going and get drafted by the Packers. He's been in the league for a couple of seasons. I want to say this is what, year 4. He's going into I think it's year 4. Really haven't seen him. I thought last year with Green Bay kind of being, kind of out of it, but kind of in it because it was the NFC, and the NFC was kind of down. especially on the back end last year. Um, Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. I thought, they was going to just full-fledged, let Jordan Love start, let him run it out and see what you have. But, they went back to Rodgers after he um, was healthy enough to play. So we really haven't seen too much from Jordan Love. Like I said, it's a lot of physical gifts to Love, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, to me, he's a rookie. Um, I don't really know what to expect from Jordan Love. Now, I do like some of the pieces that they have around him, and I think that's going to be a bit of a help to him as he kind of grows. And it's almost like this team was kind of made for him. And when I'm talking about made for him, when we're talking about the youth that they have in certain positions, it's almost like this team is ready for Jordan Love to take over, and they're ready to grow with Jordan Love. When you look at some of the skill positions, it's a lot to like. It's a lot of potential. I do like the wide receiver core, like Christian Watson, like Romeo Dobbs. They ended up drafting Jaden Reed, who I think is going to be good. Dontavian Wicks, kind of on the outside. A lot of people don't really know about him, but I think he was a pretty good draft pick. But you're talking about a very young receiving core, probably, if I'm not mistaken, probably the youngest receiving core in the NFL. I have to check the stats on that, but it's I know Watson, Dobbs were rookie last year. You're talking about your top two guys going into the second year, and the guys backing them up are rookies. But I do like the wide receiver room. You're talking about a lot of speed, guys that can grow with Jordan Love, build a rapport with Jordan Love. Um, you know, and they're not bad receivers. They're not bad receivers. I know a lot of criticism was flown their way, especially from the Aaron Rodgers lovers, that all these guys was young. They didn't know what they were doing. That's why the offense was what it was. Let's just be very, 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 very clear. Aaron Rodgers was bad last year by Aaron Rodgers standards, and by most quarterback standards, he was bad last year. I do, like I said, I do like, how this team is kind of set up for Jordan Love to grow with them. I mean, you're talking about young receivers, guys who haven't really developed bad habits, but guys who really haven't developed good professional habits just yet. So it's an opportunity for Jordan Love to grow. I mean, there's potential there. With the head coach Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is a very good offensive mind. I think he'll be able to get the most out of Jordan Love with this receiving core. And on top of that, you have running back Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, a very good 1-2 punch to kind of really take the pressure off Jordan Love, allow him to get into some play action, allow him to make some easier reads. So it's a lot to like with Green Bay's offense. Green Bay does have, when you look at the offensive line, do have one of the best offensive lines in the NFC when we're talking about David Bakhtiari, Elkin Jenkins. Center is kind of a right tackle is kind of a but I do like right guard John Runyon. He's pretty solid in the run game. But it's when you look at the offense as a whole, I mean, it's just young and in the key spots. Now I do think they need to get younger along the offensive line at some point. David Bakhtiari is still playing at an elite level, but he is turned out to be very injury prone, especially over the last 2 or 3 years. Kind of reminds me of my left tackle with the Cowboys, and talking about Smith. Very good when they're on the field, but a bit of an injury history. So I do think they need to invest a lot of draft capital or free agent capital, because this team doesn't have a lot of money spent as of yet. You still have Jordan Love on a rookie contract, still have rookie receivers. Aaron Jones is not demanding top dollar. AJ Dillon is not demanding top dollar. Like the highest paid players on offense, if I'm not mistaken, along the offensive line. So, I mean, it's room for this offense to grow. Like I said, I'm watching this team very, very close, and it's promising as the offense looks. Like if this offense comes along, let's say this offense is middle of the pack, able to put up 20, 25 a game, we might be having a different conversation about Green Bay. The expectations might raise throughout the season, because Green Bay, this division that overall is, it's a lot of question marks. I do think Detroit and Minnesota are the cream of the crop. I'm not going to get off of that stance, but I mean, Jared Goff is known to have bad games, and Kirk Cousins is known to choke. Like I said, we don't know what we're getting from Jordan Love. I'm curious to see, especially what the first half of the season kind of looks like for Jordan Love. Because then again, they don't really have an option. The backup quarterbacks are trash. But allow him to grow with this offense. Allow him to grow with these young wide receivers. I'm not going to say any of these guys are Devontae Adams when we're talking about skills, but I think Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs can give you, more athletic Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver type vibes, guys who can develop a rapport when you have a quarterback that's under center for an extended period of time. So I'm curious what this offense looks like coming into the season. When you go to the defensive side of the ball, it is a lot to like when healthy. That's the biggest caveat when you break it down. What's going on, West Bank? That is the biggest caveat when you're looking at the Green Bay Packers defense. When you look at them at all three levels, is playmakers. It is playmakers, and I'm talking about very high level playmakers. This defense, when healthy, I'm just going to say that the key word is being healthy. They're good at all three levels. You saw that in spurts last year when Green Bay was on, the defense was on. The offense wasn't always clicking, but the defense for the most part played pretty well last year. When we're talking about the defensive line, you talk about bringing back pass rusher Preston Smith. You have Kenny Clark, who's a load up front. Then you have Devontae White. I'm waiting for him, or a former first round pick a couple years ago. I'm waiting for him to kind of take off. A former Bulldog. Wait for him. I know he's a very talented defensive tackle. Waiting for him to kind of take off. They did draft Lucas Van Ness, who fits more into that 3-4 defensive end type role. Has a little size on him. They also have some athleticism on him. I do like the other pass rusher they have on the opposite side, Rashawn Gary. Like I said, it's a lot to like. There's a lot to like when you look at the Packers defense. The defensive line is solid, but it's going to come down to health. Can Kenny Clark stay healthy? Can Preston Smith stay healthy? Can Rashawn Gary stay healthy? What is Lucas Van Ness going to give you? It's a lot of talent on that defensive line. When you drop back when we're talking about the linebackers, you're talking about very good linebackers. I do like Quay Walker. Love Devondre Campbell. Loved if you haven't watched the Packers, you didn't take in a lot of their games, and trust me, I get it. They weren't very good last year. Devondre Campbell, very, very, very underrated. First of all, underrated. Very underrated, but very talented linebacker. Middle linebacker, covers a lot of ground, very instinctive, knows how to read, can blitz if need to, can be a sideline linebacker. One of the better middle linebackers in the NFL, but you have to kind of watch the Packers to know that, or just know football in general. I love the linebacker room. I think Quay Walker is going to have a good year. I do like a couple of the backers. I do like Eric Wilson, very athletic linebacker coming over. I want to say he was playing for the Texans. I think it was the Texans and the Browns at one point. I know it was the Texans for sure, but I do like him as Detroit Lions was the other team. Yeah. Well, not Cleveland, the Detroit Lions. But I do like Eric Wilson as a backup, as a swing rotational player in that linebacker core. Then when we get to the secondary, Cameron Sutton, a new addition. Jair Alexander, when he's healthy, is one of the best cover corners in the NFL. I do like Rasul Douglas. He kind of showed up in spots last year. A very good slot type corner. Can be a number 2. Can be a number 1 in the pinch. He's had a couple good moments. The rest of the cornerback room is okay. I like Savion Smith a little bit. I do like the safeties. Darnell Savage, drafting him. Tavarius Moore, like Rudy Ford, a very good athletic. Though not instinctive safeties, and he's also in that back room. It's a lot, like I said, it's a lot to like when you look at this defense. When this defense is healthy and able to come together and put it together, you're probably looking. I'm not going to say Philly in San Francisco as far as defense in the NFC, but in like this bottom half of the second and top of the third echelon tier, Green Bay's got a very, very good defense. And I think defense, along with the run game, has got to be the focus starting out the season until you find out what you really, really, really have. I mean, other than the coaches who work with him since he's been in the organization, work with him in practice, work with him in drills, work with him in OTAs and mini camps, the general public doesn't really know what we're going to get with Jordan Love. Jordan Love has got to be the biggest question mark for this team. If he's able to be competent out there, lean on the run game, lean on the defense, grow with those young wide receivers, Green Bay could be in the hunt for one of those last wild card spots in the NFC. I think it's there for the taking. I'm not going to go as far as say Green Bay is my pick for the division. I'm not going to go that far. A lot of things got to kind of break their way with the top two teams in that division for them to be really in the hunt. But it's a lot of promise overall. When you look at the division overall, NFC North, yeah, we may be having a conversation in a year or two, may be the best division in this conference. I mean, Dallas is not getting any younger. The Giants are not, they're growing marginally better. Eventually, San Francisco's not going to be able to keep all those pieces. The salary cap just won't allow it. Seattle, is Geno Smith for real? But we'll kind of get into that when I break down the NFC West teams. I mean, Green Bay, Chicago. I mean, we could be looking at them as looked at as perennial playoff contenders. If things kind of go their way, like I said, I like what I see with Green Bay. I mean, it's a lot of unproven talent, not of talent you may not be. If you weren't a Packers fan, you wouldn't know. I think Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson are a very good combination at wide receivers. It's a lot to like. I do like the draft picks that they brought in. Got more speed on the outside. Those guys are not necessarily the best route runners, but you can work on that. You can work on that. I think Jordan Love's got the arm to kind of stretch the field, just as Aaron Rodgers would. I'm not sure if he's as accurate and as careful of a quarterback as Aaron Rodgers. Because one thing about Aaron Rodgers, routinely throughout his career, his touchdowns to interception ratio has been one of the best. And I want to say, I don't know if he still holds the record, but I know at one point he held the record for touchdown to interception ratio. So it's a lot to it's a lot to like about this team. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go 8-9 wins for Green Bay. I think the defense is going to be able to carry them throughout stretches of the year. I think the combination of a healthy Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon will keep teams respectable. I think Jordan Love, may start out the year kind of slow, pick it up during the middle of the season once teams really start to get enough tape, as they typically do with first-year quarterback. How you doing, Dr. Nikki? Once they start getting, familiar with him and start getting the game tape on him, defenses adjust. I mean, it's just the NFL. This is the nature of the game. But I do like Green Bay. It wouldn't shock me. I'm going to go out here and say this. It wouldn't shock me if Green Bay snuck into the back end of the playoffs. It wouldn't shock me. I mean, other than Jordan Love, it's got a good offensive line, good defense at all three levels. The biggest key for the defensive side of the ball has got to be health. Those guys got to stay healthy and stay on the field, can't get nicked up. Because as much starting talent as they have on the defensive side of the ball, the backups is just okay. I'm not going to call them scrubs, but they're just okay. They're just okay. I do like the offensive line. Jordan Love is the key. If Love can play well, I think that Green Bay will be in position to be fighting for one of those last playoff spots. Now, look, like I said, a little bit of housekeeping. Tomorrow we'll be wrapping it up. We'll be wrapping up the division with the Minnesota Vikings. And then I'll give my pick. Friday, I'm not sure if I'm doing a show. I'm not sure. May do another freestyle Friday. May do that. You got anything you want to discuss on the Freestyle Friday show? It'll probably be at 8 o'clock if I do it. I'm open to topics. Give me a little time to kind of work. I got a lot going on. Hey, y'all know, if you know, I got a lot going on. So yeah, next week we'll be doing the AFC North, and like I said, for those who are coming in late to the show, it's always like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But not next week, but the week after, I will be doing 2 divisions at the same time. I was going to try to do a team by team right up until the season started. But, my time was a little off. So I'll be doing NFC West the first 2 days of that week. Probably 2 teams per day, and then I'll be doing the AFC West to kind of wrap up and close it out. And that'll be it for the season previews. If you missed the episode, if you missed the team that I talked about, go check out the channel. The stuff is up. Hope you enjoy it. Like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Then, first week of the season, I'm off. I'm off. I'll be back. I'll be back like the week after Labor Day. I'll be back the week after Labor Day. So that first week of the season, don't expect no show. Brother be on vacay. Brother be on vacay. But I'll be back after that. Then what we'll do is every Monday, and do kind of like the Sunday wrap up. Got to get back into the routine I was doing on the other show. Doing the show on Monday, doing the wrap up, and then kind of doing a show Thursday before the Thursday night game, previewing the next week's games, and kind of giving my picks and that kind of stuff. Or, that's Gator Girl's favorite part of the season. When I make my picks and they turn out to be right, she makes a lot of money. But anyway, thank you all for coming out. I appreciate it as always. Like I said, Friday, I don't know what I'm doing over here. Yeah, brother, I've been doing too much. I need to sit my behind down. Need to sit my behind down. But me and y'all for the phrase that pays over here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.